Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Fly guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
What's going on, team?
What's
Welcome
up?
to the
What's
first
up?
day of the off season.
My guy. How we
What up,
feeling,
Holmes?
man?
What's good with you?
Feel good. Feel good, man. I ain't got no complaints. I can't call it big dog. You know, I think the Eagles missed a grand opportunity, but that's another conversation.
Bro, I was about to say the same thing. That was my layer of frustration underneath all of this.
Yeah.
We missed the opportunity.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't want to live in that because what's meant for you is meant for you. And when you when you don't take advantage of the opportunities that are placed in front of you, you can't point anywhere else. You can't put that on nobody else.
Exactly.
So when you don't take advantage of your opportunities, Philadelphia, that's what comes along with it. You get
when
to
you
watch
don't
other
handle your
teams.
business, you get what you get.
Simple as that. Very simple. And we watched the Patriots not handle business.
Yep.
We watched a team that everybody bloviated about all year long, who got fat off of an easy schedule. We told people that. We talked about it.
Drake May was terrible in the playoffs.
It was talked about all year long.
Yeah.
That this Patriots team, they're winning and they're doing what they're doing, but they had an easy schedule. And people kept dismissing that because Drake May was playing so well. And, they invested a top 10 pick on him. And he was the guy, and he was showing that he could play. And Mike Vrabel, the people's champ, but the reality was Vrabel got outcoached, and Drake May flat out left his pads and helmet at home.
Listen, man, it is so very difficult to win a championship in this league. Nothing is given to you. You got to go out and earn it. And I was frustrated acknowledging the fact that we had opportunities to get back there and we didn't do it. So it woulda, coulda, shoulda, don't do nothing but rhyme. However, I'm looking at, again, and for me, it always goes back to this. I look at all of them people that talked all of that shit about Jalen Hurts, what he couldn't do. He got carried. He got this. He got that. Game manager, this, that, and the other. You saw that on both sides. Both teams gave you that same recipe. That same exact recipe. I told y'all that there was no way Drake May was going to outplay Sam Darnold. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and he flat out didn't outplay him. But I also don't want to bloviate too much about Sam Darnold either. I mean, he completed 50% of his He completed 50% of his passes. He did make timely throws. He had timely moments, stand tall in that pocket. He did a good job facing that pressure because both teams was getting pressure early.
He played well enough to win.
No, for sure.
He played well enough to win, and he put his defense in a situation where they can make plays. They pinned their ears back, and they brought it. And that's exactly – defense won that game.
For sure. Yes. And, it's not like Sam Darnold won MVP or anything, so I don't want to kill him. But that game, all it did was just show me that I don't care how people want to spin it. I don't care what narrative they want to push or pull. I'm comfortable with the quarterback in Philadelphia.
Absolutely. If Jalen Hurts would have played that bad,
I'm comfortable.
We'd still
be content with the quarterback in Philadelphia. I'm good with Jalen Hurts.
Somebody in the chat already said that they already trying to say that Sam Darnold is better than Jalen Hurts. And it's like
that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. That's not even the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is my guy did that already and actually had
Twice.
a great game. Twice.
Yeah.
You know? And it actually showed me so much more. Again, it's not even about Sam Darnold. It's about what the narrative represents. And I'm going to stand on this soapbox, and I'm going to say it to the top of the mountaintop. We saw Sam Darnold, who had a worse Super Bowl than Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow, some way,
win it.
He ended up in Disney World with Kenneth Walker IV.
He got a chip.
Why was he in Disney World? He didn't win a Super Bowl MVP. That trip is reserved for the Super Bowl MVP. Why is he there?
Come on, dog.
But
Come on, son.
Besides that, I watched Jalen Hurts do what he did in Super Bowl 59. He threw for more yards on less attempts.
Less attempts. He was a more efficient quarterback.
Played a way cleaner game.
Isn't he the only quarterback in history to have like his running average, his QBR, and like he had a couple of stats that nobody's ever done before.
Right.
In
So
both of his Super Bowls. So
the point I'm trying to get to is I see the conversation around Sam Darnold. They won the game. Winning is the most important. It's Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Who cares what your stats are like when you win? Especially a game like that. That's the game you want to win. So he won the game. Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champion. I congratulate him. That's a hard thing to do, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you stretch it. But it is interesting, the conversation around Sam Darnold and his standing in the NFL after he played or put up at least the production he did in that game. And you look at what Jalen Hurts did in 2 Super Bowl appearances, one of which he actually won and beat our modern-day GOAT to oblivion and outplayed him in both games. When you put that into this all that into the same pot of gumbo, you say to yourself, oh, they got picks. And let me take it a step further and let me be a little bit more salacious about it. Let me be a little bit more brazen about it. Jalen Hurts will never get a fair shake in his league because he is a brother. I see quarterbacks do less with the same amount of resources, and they find a way to spin them into the guy, and they find a way to spin Jalen Hurts into being carried. I'm not going to move off that point. It's so obvious. Because listen, I'm an adult, man, and the older you get, the more you see, and the more you see, the more frustrated you get. And now I understand why old heads be crabby. No, seriously, I get it now because you get older and you get hip to the game. You get hip to the spin, and I'm like, oh damn, it's really like that out here. It don't matter what industry you in. At the end of the day, we people and biases exist, and everybody wants a certain person to be their guy.
Exactly. And if you don't align with that perspective, you're wrong. Everybody wants to argue with you and all that kind of stuff. And it's like,
because Sam Darnold, in my opinion, has done more in this league for you to say he's not the guy than Jalen Hurts has done in this league for you to say he's not the guy.
Yeah, people gonna go with whatever narrative they want. So at this point, like I say in the beginning of every year, miss me with all of the lists, miss me with the top 10s. All of that kind of stuff, because at the end of the day, it don't matter.
And then Jalen Hurts was still there, Marcus. He was still there. I
watched this NFL. They tried to force not Sam Darnold, but they tried to force Matthew Stafford down our throats. They wanted that dude to be in the Super Bowl so bad, so they could give him the MVP. He could win it, all of that type of stuff, and it just wasn't meant to be. He got just like everybody else. And Sam Darnold just happened to be on the right team and just play well enough when he had to play well enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he got good.
And let's say I get into it. Sam Darnold had a very good year, by the way.
Absolutely.
Had 2 good years in a row. He just had 2 terrible games last year at the end of the season. He had 2 strong years back to back, 2 different organizations. So I give him credit for that. But I see a couple things. I see a couple things in the chat that I want to address, but I'll get to it in a second. Did you see Cam Newton? This brother had more grace for a loser than he did for a winner.
I don't listen to Cam. I don't listen to Cam Newton no more.
I know you don't, but let me just give you the sentiment. This man was on ESPN saying, "Hey, hold your head up, Drake. Listen, you put in the work. You showed that you can get there. You hold your head up. You hold your head up, man. It's okay to cry at that podium." You know what I realized? Losers have grace for losers. Like, I saw Cam Newton say more positive things about a loser who actually played awful, didn't play well and lose, played awful and lost. I saw him tuck him in and give him a warm glass of milk and say, "Listen, baby, it's going to be okay. You'll win and you'll live. You'll live to fight another day." Jalen Hurts wins the Super Bowl, one of the only black dual threat quarterbacks to do so. And although Cam Newton and Jalen Hurts, from a physicality standpoint, were different, height, size, whatever it may be, but they played the position similarly because they're both dual threat. I saw a Cam Newton have more grace for a quarterback who played awful and lost for Drake May.
Yeah.
Than he had more grace for Drake May than respect he had for Jalen Hurts.
He was glazing the Patriots, man.
And they fired you and didn't want to give you the job, brother.
He glazing the Patriots, man.
Let's keep it funky, yo. That's Cam Newton phrase, right? Let's keep it funky.
I can't. First of all, Cam yells too goddamn much. Excuse my language. And it's like, dude, enough is enough, man. We get it. You know what you're talking about. You know the game. That's never undisputed, man. But it's like sometimes him and Acho, dude. Like, I know you know the game, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And when you get to the point you listening to somebody, man, I can last about 30 seconds with Cam, even when he making sense. And I'm like, bruh, I gotta either mute you or find my information somewhere else, man, because it gets irritating listening to him sometimes. Mm-hmm. And he knows what he's talking about, but it's like, oh, bruh, like lose the act, say what you gotta say, and just like bring it, but it's too the extra stuff.
It's too performative.
Way too performance.
And you know, it's like
he done been embarrassed enough about it, about that situation. You know, Jalen Hurts embarrassed him all enough because that's on the internet forever. You know, I understand what you're going through, but not about that crying though.
Yeah, he said, you know, I ain't cry about it though.
and every chance somebody gets, they're gonna bring up him not going after that fumble in the game.
Yeah,
every chance somebody gets, they bring that up.
Yep, and no, you never forget who embarrassed you.
Nah, you don't.
Let's make that clear too. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget positive experiences with a person. You never forget the negative ones.
Correct.
You never forget who embarrassed you or who made you feel a certain way. And I don't care how much money you make, what your status is in life, somebody can always get under your skin. We're people. We're people. We're human. We're designed to read and react.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, brother, you had all of the skills. You had everything. You had the speed. You had the arm. You had the height. You knew what you was doing. You had it all. And your ego got in the way.
Yeah.
Your ego got in the way. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, he making his money and he doing his thing. But in this day and age, in this day of social media and the way the digital landscape exists right now, like, yo, bro, every chance somebody get, when you come across like the way you do, every chance somebody get, they bringing them receipts. And it's not like you can say, you know, you can't be quick to criticize somebody because they didn't play or they didn't play for a long time or they didn't have a great career. You can't do that no more. You can't do that no more because again, people will bring up your faults in a hot second.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
You know, it is what it is. Keep it 100, keep it real, but everybody wants to put on the show because you need them clicks. That's where we are with it right now. So
everybody want them clicks, man. So congratulations to the Seattle Seahawks. Well deserved. They were the most consistent football team all year long, and you got to give credit where credit is due to that head coach. You got to give credit to that defense. You got to give credit to the offense for making plays when it was necessary. Listen, I was watching that game and I thought the kicker was going to get an MVP. If I had to rank my MVPs in that game, it would have been Kenneth Walker IV. No, I'm sorry, I take that back. It would have been the defense. Then it would have been Kenneth Walker. Then it would have been the kicker, or Kenneth Walker IV. Then it would have been the kicker. Then it would have been Sam Darnold. Like Sam Darnold doesn't crack my top 3 of most important people in that game. But I will say he didn't screw it up.
No.
Actually, I put it this way. Sam Darnold's performance further validated why Jalen Hurts plays the game the way he plays the game.
Exactly. He didn't turn the ball over. He
further validated why it's so important to play the game the way he plays the game.
Absolutely. He even made a couple plays with his legs.
So congratulations to Sam Darnold, man. But I saw somebody post like, the league loves Mahomes. The league people love Mahomes. People love Lamar Jackson. They don't think the Jalen Hurts fodder is race related. First of all, people don't like Lamar Jackson as much as you think.
No, not even close.
People don't like Lamar Jackson as much. His talent, he's just so talented. It's hard to deny back-to-back MVPs. But
absolutely.
But trust me,
back-to-back MVPs.
Exactly. People don't like Lamar Jackson as much as y'all think. And you can tell in how he's discussed versus how Josh Allen is discussed. And he's more accomplished than Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Josh Allen gets more grace, more respect than Lamar Jackson does. And he's way more accomplished. You see, the disrespect has levels to it, right? You see, Lamar Jackson gets that top 3 level of respect. I mean disrespect. So he's always going to be compared to those top 3 guys. But he doesn't have the overall respect because you can't deny the accolades. You can't. But they don't respect Lamar Jackson the way they respect Josh Allen.
They not because they don't put Lamar out there like that.
Yeah, and listen,
they don't put him out there like that. But now, even with Josh Allen, in my opinion, Josh Allen done shot his load now. So he ain't because he caught more flack for losing that game, and now you got to start back from square one. You got a new coach, new coordinator. You got to do everything, and it's hard to get it going when your whole regime changes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, bro, if you couldn't get it done this year and everybody was 100% right, you had all the competition out of your way and you still couldn't get it done. So that's on you. That's a you problem. You had the best running back in the league. You had a good defense. Everything was in your favor. And you choked. You came up short.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I always harken back to what I say. I was like, y'all can take whoever you want to argue with me about who the best quarterback in the league is. My answer is yes.
I love when you do that.
I don't care who you say. Yes, whatever you say. All I know is I've been there twice, and I got a ring out of the situation. How many people had on their bingo card that Sam Darnold was going to take the Seahawks to as much as I love Mina Kimes. I love Mina Kimes. But when you pull that receipt and you hear her crash out when the Seahawks traded Geno Smith for Sam Darnold, they thought the world was ending. Funny how that thing works out for you. Geno Smith goes down to Vegas and looks god-awful. Sam Darnold goes up to Seattle, and what do you know? What do I always say about a change in environment sometimes? You never know what you're going to get. And sometimes you just got to play the game and let it play itself out.
And coaching matters, man.
Coaching
matters. And the reason I respect Seattle is because they've been building that team. They drafted those players. They supplemented with a free agent here and there. They built that team. I saw a post on PFF say that who's the GM for the Seahawks? I forget his name.
I don't know offhand.
Let me see something. It is John Schneider, right? I saw PFF have a post on their page saying John Schneider has had the best 4-year run a GM could ever have. What?
No, he didn't.
I swear
No,
to
he
God.
didn't.
I swear to God. They said that.
Because people have short memories.
Yo, it's like, yo, they won. I'm so happy for them. I am really happy for them. But yo, we like keep it G. Like,
Well, here's
G.
the thing. Here's the thing. We still in that grace period. They ain't even had the parade yet.
Yeah.
So we still in that grace period. They still on the high of winning the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So you got to give them that 2-week grace period, and that's all they're going to talk about. Then we going right back to the draft, and they're going to get relegated right back to whatever they used to be. But they just get the moniker of reigning Super Bowl champions. Now, we're not even going to get into the questions of, can they do it again? Can they repeat? Can they run it back? All of that stuff that we had to deal with in Philadelphia. Because I don't believe anybody thinks that that team is that good. And are they going to be there again? I don't know. But they got the ring. They got the chip. They the reigning champions until this time next year.
Yeah, and again,
so it's going to be what it's going to be.
I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that fan base, man. Shout out to Seattle. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. You know, I think, let me ask you a question. Do you think where the league is clearly, okay, you got 2 back-to-back NFC winners in the Super Bowl and two Super Bowls where, well, both winners had elite defenses. And I guess I'm trying to ask you, do you think the league has a new formula to winning?
No. I think teams have figured out that the best way to win is to maximize the personnel they have. I think there's more and more teams that are finally reversing the engines and playing off their personnel instead of the personnel playing off the scheme. Find out who you have on your squad. Find out what they do best and design your offense or defense or special teams around those things. Not vice versa. Not this is my playbook. I need the fastest guy out here. We got to find somebody that can, like, no, most teams do it in reverse. And it's amazing how nobody figures that out. You find the best players on your team and you maximize what they do best. You don't put them in your system because for the longest time, that's what they did. The coaches were the brainchilds. And if you don't want to play in my system, it's my way or the highway. For the longest time, it was like that. And you lost a lot of good players, a lot of good athletes, a lot of good quarterbacks. Not to mention the black quarterbacks and everything, because people for the longest time didn't think black quarterbacks were smart enough to play the position. So there were so many people, and you had that old boy network that didn't want to think any other way. And you can look at that standpoint from any sport. And what it all comes down to is when people got out of the way of the ego and started seeing, when they started knowing the personnel, it made all the difference in the world. Mm-hmm. So that's why I always get upset when we couldn't run the ball. And then I look at somebody like San Francisco and it's like, how come they can run the same plays every damn week? Everybody know what they running. Everybody knows what they running. And can't nobody stop it. Why is that? Their offensive line isn't that good. But they had it so they had the right people at the right places and they could execute certain plays almost to 80 to 90% efficiency. With a success rate, could nobody stop it even if you knew where it was going. That's why I'm so excited to see what Mannion is going to come with. And now everybody was poo-pooing Cooper that we got from the Vikings. And I was like, you can't look at it that way.
You talking about the O-line coach, right?
Yeah. Like you can't look at it because the Vikings didn't have a great year or their offensive line wasn't that good.
They had injuries. They had injuries on the offensive line all year.
They had a lot of injuries, but I'm looking at it from the standpoint of you can't hold that against them when we got the best coach in the business and we couldn't run nowhere. So I was like, once you get in the right scheme and you get the right people, and to your point, everybody's healthy, everybody's 100%, and you got what you got, and then you line it up in the trenches and see who gonna win that war. You want to go when everybody's 100%, and we ain't have nothing close to that.
I like where you took it. Let's stay there. Jeff Stoutland is gone. Didn't think I would say that, but
wasn't on my bingo card, bro.
Wasn't out on my bingo card at all, but nonetheless, it happened. Of course, when things like that happen, the rumors start to circulate, and it leads people to formulate their own assertions, right? People have their so-called trusted sources. People, and when I say sources, I mean the lunch lady or the custodian. Like, they be like, a source can be somebody who's just in the building. A source can be somebody who just picks up the mail, like, and drops it off. So I try to tread lightly when these people say they sources, but the rumor is that Jeff Stoutland lost run game coordinator duties, and he grew and he got frustrated with that. And overall, the frustrations kind of was boiling over throughout the season because of the lackluster run game. But the reality is, and I'm talking explicitly about the 2025 season. So when I say this, don't think I'm trying to dismiss what Jeff Stoutland did for the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not. When he retires and when he's all done with the sport, we can, reminisce and wax poetic about his legacy. And
he's going to be in the Eagles Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I would never disrespect his legacy. I know he's churned out Pro Bowler after All Pro, after Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion. I mean, this dude. They might find a way to put him in the NFL Hall of Fame. Right. Jeff Stoutland found a way to turn a rugby player, a rugby project, into a all-pro offensive tackle. So Jeff Stoutland, he's golden in his city. He ain't got paid for another $1 million in the city ever again. But he was the run game coordinator last year. He was the offensive line coach last year. And I understand that they had some injuries on the interior. I get that. And I'm not dismissing that. In addition, he had no answers.
None.
He had no answers. And someone's going to try to spin that like I'm disrespecting Jeff Stoutland. I'm prepared for that.
No, that's the facts.
But the reality is, when Jurgens came back, and I was talking about Jurgens all year long, I didn't feel like he was healthy. I felt like they should have sat him or did something with him.
Yes.
But when you just gave him the money, it's kind of hard to do that. It's kind of hard to do that. If he's healthy, you got to play him. You just paid him. You got to play him.
Yeah, now we playing politics.
Yeah. And then Landon Dickerson, rumor is he may have an early retirement because of the injuries he's been dealing with. And then Lane Johnson, likely he retire. So that means you're going to miss. That means you're going to lose out on two.
Lane said he might come back.
Okay.
I don't know if you heard that.
I did.
Lane made a comment about Sean Mannion, saying that he was going to give the new guy a try.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that sounds to me like he's planning on giving it one more shot. Not to mention, we got to get into the conversation about AJ Brown and all the stuff he was saying at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, do me a favor real quick though. Bring up Bam Bam's comment. It's interesting. Thank you, Bam Man, for locking on the show. We appreciate you, Bam Man 1003. He says people are bashing Nick, but it's the head coach's job to step in when the coaching staff are having problems, no matter who it is. Possibly it could have been handled better, but it wasn't wrong in my humble opinion. You know what's so funny about that statement, Bam Man? And thank you so much, because I think you raised an interesting point. The reality is, I love when people say that when things are going soft, the head coach has to step in.
Correct. When he steps in.
But hold on. There's a line with that though. Here's what I mean when I say that. Offensive line not playing well. You want him to go coach the offensive line? Hey, these guys aren't doing well. You want him to go coach with the wide receivers? You want him to go coach here? He's the head coach. He can't be everywhere at once. At some point, you gotta let motherfuckers do their job. At some point, guys got to do their job. Like, I mean, he can have conversations with Stoutland, but you think Nick going there and getting into a 3-point stance and telling these guys what to do, or getting into a he's what's the expectation from the head coach when certain things are just beyond you? I'm not saying Nick's hands are clean from this whole season, but that offensive line has been Jeff Stoutland's responsibility for over a decade, and we've never had to blink twice.
Here's the question, though: what if Jeff Stoutland was frustrated that nobody was listening to him? What was going on when they were? How was the run game when they were listening to you? Did it ever get better? He got axed or demoted when? The 6th, 7th game of the season?
Who?
Stoutland. But when did the demotion happen?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand, because that's the rumor, right? That they took his duties away at some point throughout the season.
Right. But I guess my question is, when did they do that? Let's just say that, I know there's an answer out there, but let's just say for the sake of this conversation that it was at the bye week. Right? So, okay, so if it's P. Werv, if it was at the mini bye week, so that was at week 9, if I'm not mistaken. How was the run game looking before all of this happened? Not good. And we see what happened when Kevin Petullo, the only difference between Kevin Petullo and Jeff Stoutland is we like Jeff Stoutland. That's the only difference.
And he has a resume to back it up. He has a resume.
That's the only. But again, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? Because everybody's quick to say Saquon lost a step. So how quickly our perspective can turn. So you had the best, and I was one of them, because I'd be the first one to tell you, I don't care what they do with the Eagles, Jeff Stoutland is untouchable. I said that.
I agree with 100%.
I said that. But I already know. I've been in the league. I know how the sausage is made. Nobody's untouchable. You just saw what they did to McDermott. You saw what they did to Brian Daboll. You saw what they did to Kevin Stefanski. Nobody's untouchable. Even when you think you got the best of the best. This is a results-based business. And if you do not get the results, they are going to promote you to fan.
And to your point, right? I love where you're taking this. Because the legend of Jeff Stoutland, what he's been able to do is undisputed.
Thank you, man.
It's undisputable. It's undisputed, right? So I think what happens, though, to your point about no one being untouchable, fans start to put certain people into that category when in reality, the business dictates that no one truly is untouchable. No one.
Correct.
And there are certain people who almost become a deity in Philadelphia sports lore. Jeff Stoutland is one of those people who became a deity. Vic Fangio was someone who became a deity overnight. Well, over the course of a season. I'm trying to think who else. Jason Kelce became a deity. Lane Johnson. Like, there's certain players, certain people who just be Howie Roseman. Like, there's certain people who just become larger than
the
program because of how we view them and what they've done and the results they've given. But the reality is, when those results cease, and not only when they cease, when it gets to a point where you have no answer, no alternative, organizations, ownership groups, GMs, you force their hand. You force their hand.
They got to make a move.
And
the ball keeps rolling, and let us not forget, change is uncomfortable.
Yes, it is. And I actually don't think, this may be a hot take for some Philadelphia Eagles fans, maybe not, but I think we're in better shape than people think.
Oh, I guarantee we are.
It's scary right now, though.
It's scary. Change is uncomfortable.
It's scary,
especially when you changing. It's like in high school, and everybody's been through this situation. When you was in high school and your favorite teacher moved away, your favorite teacher out of there, or your favorite coach. Your favorite coach got a head coaching gig, so they left your school. That was the same guy that believed in you, or that teacher that finally helped it click for you. Everybody's had that situation, and you didn't like it. You was mad, you was sad, you cried, whatever it was that you did. But when that next cycle rolled around, that next season rolled around, that next school year rolled around, you had a new person in that spot. And guess what? You had to deal with it. Like it or not, you had to deal with it. And then after a measure of time, the newness of it goes away. And then you take your feelings out of the situation, and then you get back to facts. How are we running the ball this year? How are we throwing the ball this year? Is Jalen Hurts thrown across the middle? Do we still have A.J. Brown? Are we getting A.J. Brown the ball? How are we running the ball? How are these outside zone reads looking now that we got somebody in-house that knows how to zone block? How is that looking right now? Maybe we'll be better off for it. Don't mean that Jeff Stoutland and Stoutland University is still not legendary. But sometimes it's time for a change. Because I know I can't wait. Because now that I know this dude is part of that McVay tree and what's going on the West Coast with the Rams and San Francisco, he's from that school. So I know we're gonna do some zone blockings. And what's the stuff that I was bitching, moaning, complaining about all year? Why can't we do some zone blocking like we used to do back in the day with Terrell Davis in Denver? Zone block, everybody reach, get up to the second man if you got a gap on you, and let your running back be a running back. And guess what we're going to do next year? So I'm excited to see it. I've already seen a couple posts where people like, that wasn't Jeff Stoutland's philosophy. He doesn't coach that way. Okay. We wanted somebody to come in and get autonomy. Autonomy means we got to get coaches in here that can coach like he wants his offense to run. So if the thing with Stoutland hasn't told me anything else, is that Sean Mannion has the autonomy that we've been talking about for a year. So now what's the problem? So you got to let it play itself out. The kid knows what he's doing. I am confident that this kid knows what he's doing. Now it's your turn to step up. We're getting ready for the draft. You just saw that the tight end from Cleveland is not going back. So we licking our chops. Maybe we can make a deal happen there. I don't know. We know what we need. Howie season right now, going up to that draft. Do what you do best, my guy. And get us right back in that situation that we can make another run, get to the playoffs, and all this stuff starts over again. But hopefully next time, when we in the playoffs, the first week of the playoffs next season, maybe it ain't going to be a flip a coin to see what our offense is going to do. It ain't going to be like Batman and Two-Face. You don't know which side you're going to get. Maybe we can have some consistency on offense. We'll see. But I have a little bit more confidence now that we got this young kid in here, and we're going to see what we're going to see. Because, to your point, Tone, what was going on wasn't working. Jeff Stoutland was a part of that not working. And now he's not here. Maybe, even though it was a powerful engine, maybe it was time for that engine to be replaced.
Yeah.
But we going to find out.
Yeah, man. I'm just not going to take the bait, frankly. Things happen, change happens. I'm not going to get too emotional about this because I've accepted what the league is. I've accepted the business surrounding it. I've accepted the fact that this is more than just entertainment. I've accepted that this goes beyond just fandom. I've accepted that these organizations are not going to do what the fans want them to do. They're going to do what they feel is in the best interest of the long term and now of the organization. I've accepted that. So I can't get but so emotional about it. Will I have opinions about certain things? Yeah, and I'll share them. But if I don't have a real opinion about something, if I don't have a real emotion attached to something, I'm not gonna fake the funk. You know, like, because I give you guys so much emotion already. So no need to waste my load. You feel me? No need to waste my bullets. no need to waste my bullets. Like I'm a passionate guy by nature. But I'm not going to misuse that passion. And I salute Jeff Stoutland for everything he provided this organization. 13 years strong, baby. And let's not forget, he almost left before.
He did.
He almost left a couple times.
And it's not a done deal that he's gone now. The offer is still on the table for him to come back in the organization. Whether he will or not, that remains to be seen.
Like, well, I don't know in what shape or form. They already hired a new line coach. So what does he come back as a?
I don't know, but I know that door is still open.
It don't always go because he is who he is.
He might not coach at all. He might just sit around and chill.
It's possible.
Don't be surprised if this is Vic Fangio's last year and this is a setup waiting for Jim Schwartz.
Don't be surprised if Stoutland go to the college game and get that bag.
Yeah, that's true.
Because he came from college. He was coaching at Alabama, I think.
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, don't be surprised if he go to the college game, and then he's an older guy too, like moving. You know, he's a
but see, and that's the other thing that people don't want to. Stoutland is what 70?
Yeah,
Stoutland been around for a minute. He don't want to move nowhere. No, Stoutland is not 70.
He's 64. He's 64.
Stoutland is 64, yes. But when you're talking about somebody that's 64, he been in Philly for a long time. He got his wife.
And Fangio is 67.
Fangio 67. I thought Fangio was a little bit older than that. But people like that, when you at that point in your life, you don't want to just pick up and move everything. Even if Jeff Stoutland, let's say Jeff Stoutland takes another gig somewhere else. Now he gonna have it in his contract. Y'all find me a place, fully furnished. I ain't moving shit. I don't want to go nowhere. All I want to do is bring my wife with me, and we automatically that's in the contract. I'm not dealing with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not moving my whole family, my kids, my dogs, and all that kind of stuff to halfway across the country for 8 months.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's
people
a family
at that
dude.
age,
He's
they don't want
dude.
that hassle. They do not want that hassle.
Yeah, that's why why you think Darius Slay took the Steelers job? Like
Exactly.
he didn't want to pack up and leave, and that man in his 30s.
No.
Like, his kids is rooted in the area. He'd been in Philly for like over 5 years, something like that. Like Slay was in Philly for like 5 years.
And he would have went to back-to-back Super Bowls. He told the Patriots he ain't want to play.
No, that was the Bills.
Was that the Bills or the Patriots?
That was the Bills.
My bad.
Yeah, that was the Bills. You know, why get your heart broken like that?
Right.
You know, but regardless, though, I mean, look, the Eagles are going through some changes right now, and like you said, the change is uncomfortable, and there's probably more changes on the horizon, right? You briefly brought up the AJ Brown thing, and everybody. Here's the thing about these players, they always make their rounds on Super Bowl week. They get none of these guys are sitting anywhere for free. By the way, all those guys are paid to be where they are. So,
I tell you what, folks did not expect for AJ to come across like that, though. They did not expect that. They didn't expect the Philly Love Fest. And I was like, that's interesting.
I don't know how much I buy it, though.
I buy it. I take him at his word.
Here's
I take AJ at his word until he breaks it.
I'll say this, though, right? Listen, we hear all the time guys say, hey, this is where I want to be. 2 days later, they traded.
Yeah,
Now, is that always their decision? No. Right. I don't want to take that caveat away. It's not always the player's decision. But trades aren't always one-sided.
No.
Sometimes the organization senses something or they're seeing something and they want to move on from it or get ahead of it. Now, when it comes to AJ Brown, that aside from AJ Brown, he mentioned, how much he loved the city and, he's welcoming the new coordinator, the changes and whatnot. One thing that stood out to me, he said change is always good. Now, the pessimist in me can say, oh, that was coded.
It's possible.
The fan in me can say, yeah, he's on board with the Eagles doing everything possible to show that they're trying to move the offense forward. Now, AJ Brown's opinion on his team matters because he's been a captain for consecutive seasons.
Correct.
And what he said about the Philadelphia Eagles offensively has never been a lie. And I think although his methods can sometimes be questioned, I think deep down this organization understands that he didn't tell a single lie. So when you think about what they've done in the overhaul offensively, they even kicked out Scott Leffler after a season. They completely overhauled coordinator on down. I think Parks Frazier is still on the staff in somehow, some way, but they've completely overhauled that offensive coaching staff. New offensive coordinator, new pass game coordinator, new quarterback coach. Their actions have shown you they have not been satisfied with the development of Jalen Hurts, and they have not been satisfied with the evolution of this offense over the past handful of years.
Well,
so when you couple their actions, and you pair that with AJ Brown's statements, and you also throw in what Jalen Hurts has always been saying about the offense throughout the seasons and how they're too reliant on certain things, is it possible the Philadelphia Eagles are trying to put their money where their mouth is and say, listen, we hear you, AJ. We hear you. We hear you, Jalen. We hear you, Smitty. We believe you're a part of this thing just as much as everybody else is. If you still want to leave, okay. But our actions are showing we're trying to evolve this thing, and we're trying to do whatever possible to get everybody's game to the next level.
Yeah, but does AJ have any type of trade clause in his contract?
No, but his contract is damn near untradeable.
But I guess my question is, I know he doesn't have a no trade clause.
He doesn't.
But
he doesn't.
Does he have the right to refuse? Like, no, I don't want to go there. Don't trade me. Like, I think he have that say.
To answer your question directly, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, because of who they are and how they do business,
would grant him that.
They would give him that luxury.
Right.
Because of what he's meant to the organization, what he's provided. Think about what they did for CJ.
Correct. They
traded him to a team that very well had the best defense in football. CJ fumbled the bag, not the Eagles. Correct. The Eagles sent him to a winning situation.
Yep.
In the opposing conference. And obviously it went how it went, and he ended up in Chicago. But then
Chicago had their shot.
He didn't even play much for Chicago in the end.
Yep.
Towards the back end. So all I'm trying to say is, to your point, I think the Eagles, they respect the people who do right by them.
And plus, man, back to AJ, I'll even go back to, when was that, 2 years ago? When he called into WIP. He called into
I love that.
He called into WIP sight unseen and was like, what are y'all talking about? And this is the same thing. And again, I was having this conversation the other day, and it was like, because it was some people in the chat that was like, yeah, we need to get rid of AJ and blah, blah. I was like, AJ ain't never said anything wrong. Never. All y'all did was shoot the messenger. You ain't like that he tweeted, and you ain't like that he was reading the book on the sideline. But AJ Brown, and I acknowledge the fact that he had the worst game of his career at the worst possible time. He got hit with Murphy and his laws. But that ain't no difference. Everybody get a turn. Anybody can get got. And unfortunately for us, it was his turn in the worst possible time. In the playoffs when we needed him the most. The ball hits him in the hands. The ball hits Smitty in his hands, and neither one of them come up with the catch. When they done backflips and came down with the ball before. So now we had a situation. I'm so glad that he didn't say nothing to the media. And that's why all of this shit is going crazy now, anyways, because he ain't said nothing. The bad part of that is that when you don't say nothing, that gives them impunity to say whatever it is they want to say. They making it up.
Mm-hmm.
If I was AJ, I would pick one person. I don't care if it's Baldy. I don't care if it's Barrett. I don't care if it's Big Rube. I don't care if it's Zangaro. He could talk to anybody with the exception of maybe Dave Spadaro, because Dave is the mouthpiece for the team, so it wouldn't come across right.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say you got to talk to somebody, or they're going to continue to make it up. Find somebody you like to talk to, and then say, hey, I'm going to talk to you. You can ask me whatever you want, and then we'll go from there. So at least everybody gets the information, and you control the stream of information.
I'm glad you said that. I've always loved. See, we've kind of gotten away from that. We've gotten away. We've gotten away from the player to media relationship. And here's what I mean when I say that. There used to be a time or era when every superstar had that one person in media that they gave it up to. That one.
Yeah.
When it was Michael Jordan, Ahmad Rashad, that was the person he gave it up to. That was the person he left behind the curtain. Not nobody else. Aaron Rodgers, Pat McAfee, that was the person he gave it up to. Aaron Rodgers probably one of the last ones to do that. Like, so what I'm trying to say is, I think to control your narrative, we've gotten so accustomed to tweeting it. And the reality is tweets are is so easy to misconstrue those things. It's so easy to just create your own narrative from a tweet. But if I build that rapport with that one guy in the media who I trust to tell my story objectively, but with good faith, I'm gonna pour into that person. And hey, listen, you get the story, I get to tell my story. So, look, I'm never one to tell players what to do, but I do believe we've gotten away from that because now players feel like they can't trust these guys in the media, and media feel like they're just as important as the players.
Yeah,
and there's like media. It's got to a point where media cares about their personality now. They want their personality to be a part of this thing, and I get it, but because this is where we are, you want to eat, you want to build your profile in this league, but I don't want to get so far away from truth and objectivity to the and we can never get back there. That's why sometimes I become disenchanted with sports talk.
It's not even sports talk anymore. It's all about, if your opinion doesn't align with mine, you're wrong. And it's not more, I guess it's no longer a conversation. It's more of you telling me what you think it is, period. And it's like, I don't want you to have a monologue. I want to have a conversation. And you don't get that no more. You get that on social media. We'll talk. We engage with the chat. When I go live, people come on the show, give their opinions. I want to hear what you got to say because I know I'm not the smartest person in the room. And your opinion matters. And there's a lot of bullshit that you got to sift through. However, it's a lot of people that got something smart to say. When you on the radio, their business is making everybody think they stupid. So even, we beating a dead horse now, but you listen to sports radio enough. You've been around it long enough to know. And then you look at people, it's like, come on, dog. Why would you say that other than you looking to get the clicks from it? Because it makes no sense. Because if you had any type of, I guess, journalistic integrity or anything like that, but I can't even say that because most of these people ain't journalists. It ain't too many beat reporters. That's why I say talk to somebody like Zangaro or Big Rube or somebody that are in the locker room every day. The beat reporters that are you got relationships with because you see them every day. and at least they'll give you the benefit of the doubt. And Tony, I brought this up the other day, and I was like, "Hey, Meta, if y'all listening to me, I got y'all a free marketing campaign. Meta needs to give the Meta glasses to every player in the NFL, and every time they give an interview, they need to have it on their Meta glasses. That way, what they said can never be misconstrued because they automatically got the receipts." I was like, "So Meta, if you hear this podcast, you're welcome. If you want to send me a free pair of glasses, I'm good with that too." So, but you got to talk, and it's got to go both ways, or you get what you get. They're gonna make it up. They're gonna make it up, and now we got this new fringe of the social media where everybody, every ex-player and their mama is jumping on, swearing up and down. They know exactly what's going on, and it's like, no, you don't. You ain't in the locker room every day. I don't care who you call. If you ain't in there, you don't know. You don't know. That's like somebody that you know giving reports on what your relationship is like, and they're not in your house. Yeah, you know them, but you don't know. If you outside the house, you ain't there every day. Stop it. Stop it. And people are falling into that. He must know what he's talking about. Because I used to play for the Eagles don't mean I know everything. I'll give you my opinion, but that's as far as it goes. It is my opinion. So we are in that era of this social media thing because now we're a little bit further along where social media has overtaken the terrestrial media and they are getting more play. Their microphones are a little bit louder than ESPN and Stephen A. and Cowherd and all of that kind of stuff. That's why everybody on ESPN got their own podcast, because the podcasts are louder than everybody else. But you still got to have your stuff together. You still got to come with facts. You still got to check said facts, because everybody doing this AI shit now, and ain't nobody doing the homework.
Yep.
So, got to be careful, man. Got to be careful.
I agree 100%. While you were talking, right, I've been thinking about like the whole conversation surrounding Jalen Hurts as it pertains to his contract extension, because I think Jalen Hurts, let me make sure I got this right here. His cap hit, continues to rise slowly but surely. And Howie Roseman did a phenomenal job drafting that contract. And Nicole Lynn did a phenomenal job negotiating that contract for Jalen Hurts. And, right now, Jalen Hurts isn't expected to be an unrestricted free agent until 2029. He's entering the 2026 season. So there's 26, 27, 28, 3 years left on his current deal. He's made due on that contract, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. We got a Super Bowl out of it. What's the problem?
Quite frankly, let's say a quarterback gets 2 contracts at the most, and I'm not talking the rookie deal, but no, let's count the rookie deal. You sign a quarterback to the rookie deal, so that's guaranteed. If you draft him in Jalen Hurts' case, second round, that's 4 years guaranteed, right? So let's just say you drafted a quarterback, he's 4 years under contract. You extend him, that's another 4 years, hypothetically. You extend him again, that's another 4 years. So that's 12 years of play. If you average a Super Bowl per contract, I think that was a win for that draft pick.
Absolutely.
If you extend a guy once and you win a Super Bowl in that span, that contract was a success. So my point is, when I see people say the Eagles shouldn't extend Jalen Hurts, when I see these radio stations say they shouldn't extend Jalen Hurts and they got to find a way to move off Jalen Hurts and Jalen Hurts is not the guy, me and you talk about this all the time.
They're idiots.
What's your alternative?
They're idiots.
And you know what they say? They say, well, you draft one, you develop one, right?
No, you don't.
Hold on. Here, I want to go through something. I'm looking at a spreadsheet here of all the quarterbacks drafted in NFL history, going all the way back to the 80s and the 50s and all that. I'm looking at a spreadsheet here, right? To drafthistory.com. And I'm just going to start naming quarterbacks off the list, because people think People think quarterbacks just fall off trees and you can just find anybody and put him in there.
No, you can't.
Hey, listen, Sam Darnold probably had more years of mediocrity than success in the NFL. He still was a first-round talent. He still was a first-round pick. But anyway, that's beside the point. In 2025, here are the quarterbacks that were drafted. And I don't know when I'm going to stop, but just try to follow where I'm going here, Marcus. 2025, Cam Ward, Jackson Dart, Tyler Shaw, Jalen Milroe, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, Kyle McCord, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Graham Mertz, Cam Miller, Curtis Rourke, Quinn Ewers. That's 13 quarterbacks drafted in the 2025 NFL draft. I can say definitively that all 13 of those quarterbacks are still unknown. And when I say unknown, I mean you don't know if it was a hit or a miss.
Yeah, 90% of them gonna be backups.
You don't like we don't know what those quarterbacks are going to be. And I think if we all put our money to the bank, so far there's only really one quarterback, maybe two, who's really shown us something of substance. But even then, means nothing in the end.
Yeah, but
if it doesn't equate to wins,
streamline the process. Take the names away. Take the teams away. Strip all of that off. And just say, hey, you fan, whatever team you are a fan of, if I could give you a quarterback, whether you drafted him, signed him, whatever, if I could give you a quarterback and guarantee you would go to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years, would you take it? You don't know
one.
You don't know.
Don't forget win one. Don't forget that one. And
you don't know
one.
anything. Well, I'm not saying win. The reason why I'm not saying win is because there's so many teams and so many quarterbacks that never even get to the playoffs.
Fair enough.
So the fact that you made it to the Super Bowl, I'm looking at that from the standpoint of you let the cards fall where they may. But if I could say I am going to give you a quarterback that's going to get you to the Super Bowl twice in 4 years, would you take him? Everybody would say yes.
Exactly.
You're not allowed to know their name. You can't see stats. The only thing I'm going to tell you is this guy is going to give you an opportunity to play in the Super Bowl twice. You wouldn't even have to say twice.
If you draft a guy, like you said, you got to say twice.
I'm not going to tell you what round. I'm not going to tell you what he did in college. All I'm telling you is you are going to draft a guy that's going to take your squad to the Super Bowl. He's going to be your franchise quarterback. Are you going to take that chance? 100% people would say yes. The problem is when they find out the name and they find out the stats and what school did he go to? And I don't know. But he was carried. He was a game manager. He ain't big enough. His arm's not strong enough. He can't run the ball at all. He can't move in the pocket. All I'm telling you is this guy is going to take your team to the Super Bowl. Sight unseen, yes, you want him. When you see what you get, that's when people start having problems.
I love the way you put that.
That's Jalen Hurts' issue right now. We got all these people that think they know every damn thing. And if they would have asked you that before you saw him play, if they would have told you that as he was coming out of Oklahoma and/or Alabama, you would have called him a liar. Ain't no way that is going to take us. Matter of fact, they said it after we drafted him. What are they doing? We got Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is going to take. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. You got a guy that listens. You got a guy out of all the teams in the NFL that's going to get another offensive coordinator. We got the one quarterback that can actually deal with it. Because he ain't never had the same quarterback.
You're cooking.
And he's still been to 2 Super Bowls.
You're cooking. And that's the funny thing about it, right? Every time there's so much, you know how people always say, well, there's data out there to show that the Eagles are unstable. Well, if you shift that lens, the data actually shows you, in spite of the instability, they win and get to the big game. Not many organizations, not many players are able to overcome with the pressure the Eagles put on their staff and players. The Eagles are a franchise that make it very clear when you walk in that door, we win here, and if you're not pulling us in that direction, we will push you out.
And you have to take into consideration that verbiage is not consistent anymore. Dysfunction, if you look it up in the dictionary, I heard a preacher say this one time. The definition of dysfunction is somebody's dissing their function. But it means something different in San Francisco. It means something different down in Miami. It means something different over in Chicago. But in Philly, that means everybody ain't getting along. Jalen Hurts sucks. Sirianni needs to be fired. A.J. Brown is a diva. That's what dysfunction means. What? And in spite of all that dysfunction, we still made it to the playoffs. While y'all was in Cancun. Stop playing.
Here, listen to this. Here's the dysfunction. Here's the definition of dysfunction. An abnormality or impairment in the function of a specified bodily organ or system. Disruption or failure of normal social relations or political processes. Now let's take it a step further. Dysfunctional. Dysfunctional means not operating normally or properly, or unable to deal adequately with normal social relations or political processes. I love what you said, that definitions change all the time when it comes to these words.
All depends on who's saying it.
All depends on who's saying it and what your narrative is. Because what I will say is the Eagles don't operate normally.
No.
You want to know why? Because there are people in this league who, no matter how they want to criticize the Eagles or say what they want to say about the Eagles, they haven't accomplished what the Eagles have accomplished. You don't get where the Eagles got by being normal or by being adequate or by doing things properly. You go against the grain, you take shots, you swing for the fences, and guess what? You make sure you got a parachute on the way down. You make sure you got an exit strategy on the way down. The Eagles are an organization. They like the Marines. First one's in, last one out. They always got a plan. There's always a plan. Always a plan. They're like the Navy SEALs. Always a plan. You know, like they like the A team. What my man? What my man with the cigar always say? I love it when the plan.
I love it when the plan comes together.
I love it when the plan comes together.
You done went back in the 80s on me, dog. You talking to my heyday, man.
I love it when the plan comes together. So all I'm trying to say is, right, when people say Jalen Hurts is not the guy, he's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. When people say, oh, you're going to move on from Jalen Hurts to find another quarterback, where? Quarterbacks don't fall off trees. Quarterbacks aren't as easy to develop as people want to make it seem. And again, I went through the 2025 draft class. All of those guys are unknown and unproven. Let's 2024 draft class. Caleb Williams, I would say that's a hit. Jaden Daniels, I would say that's a hit. Drake May, I would say that's a hit. And I would say Bo Nix is a hit. That's 4 quarterbacks from that draft class out of a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 quarterbacks. 4 out of 11. Not a bad ratio. Kind of reminds me of that 2020 draft class with Jalen Hurts and those boys, right?
That's a pretty
but
good
it's
percentage.
very rare you have a 4-4-11 ratio or a 4-4-11 dynamic in a draft class when it comes to quarterbacks, right? But then you go to the 2023 draft class. Bryce Young, I would argue he made the playoffs this year, but he has more bad tape than good tape. CJ Stroud, after that rookie season, the entire world's been questioning him. And now after that playoff game, oh yeah, his contract extension is definitely the topic of no one's conversation.
Yeah, but here's the funny part. You got to count that as a hit. You got to count Bryce Young as a hit because, number one, they made the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And number two, they still put him in as the franchise guy.
Fair enough.
What you want. Now, how that plays out is a different story.
Fair enough.
Because if you can look at CJ Stroud and say it's looking a little iffy right now, can't you say the same thing about Josh Allen?
Oh, for sure. And by the way, I think CJ Stroud is a good quarterback. I just think he has some things he got to work on.
Right.
But I think Stroud's a good quarterback. And the thing is, my overall point is it's very hard to find that. It's hard to find that crown jewel. It's hard to find that crown jewel.
Right.
People want to find the Mahomes, People want to find the Josh Allens, right? They want to find the Lamar Jacksons. Even Lamar Jackson was a 32nd overall pick. It's not easy to find these so-called gems people want. And even when you find one, it doesn't guarantee you anything. Ask Josh Allen, ask Lamar Jackson, ask Joe Burrow. It doesn't guarantee you anything. Jalen Hurts is a second-round pick. Second-round pick. That 2022 quarterback draft class, awful. The 2021 draft class, the only one to stand the test of time has been Trevor Lawrence. Everybody else has turned into a backup or less, or maybe out of the league. 2020. Now we get to the Joe Burrow, Tua draft class, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, Jalen Hurts. Tua may start somewhere because he still was a first-round pick, and another organization is going to give him a shot, but not normal. The 2019 quarterback draft class, Kyler Murray is the only one to survive that group.
And Kyler Murray is about to be a backup.
He's about to be a backup. 2018, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. They're the only ones who've become something in this league. Josh Rosen. Remember when Josh Rosen was drafted? You know what he said? I'm going to make everybody who drafted me pay. Who skipped out on me pay.
Fast on me pay. Yep.
Right. But
how's that working out for you?
Right. And Josh Allen, no Super Bowl appearance. You know,
Sam Darnold got to win, game, bro.
You got to play the game. All I'm trying to say is this quarterback thing that people want to act like is a given. It's an inexact science. It's an inexact science. So when you actually find a guy that can run your team and you find him, develop him, build around him, invest in him, and you can win with him, why would you try to believe or try to find something more than that? That is the blueprint. Scout a guy, draft a guy, develop a guy, build around the guy, invest in the guy, you win with the guy. That's the goal.
That's the goal.
Jalen Hurts has checked all those boxes.
And y'all don't like what it looks like.
But you want more.
You want more.
He won you a Super Bowl and took home the most prestigious award in football, Super Bowl MVP. But you want more. You want more. And you let the national media convince you that there always is more.
Yeah, because the national media has been exposed because they are looking for a particular look. We've been over that conversation before. They want the style points. They want to check all the boxes. They want the 6'4". They want all of that, the golden arm, all of that kind of stuff. And like those guys don't make it to the Super Bowl. They don't make it to the Super Bowl. You tried to stuff Stafford up there again. You try to stuff Jared Goff. You try to stuff Trevor Lawrence. You try to who give me another quarterback that meets those expectations.
And look, I never got nothing bad to say about Stafford because he's an MVP and he's a Super Bowl champion. And now Stafford isn't a Super Bowl MVP, but he has MVP in the regular season and a Super Bowl championship Lombardi that he rightfully deserved. So,
absolutely.
So Matthew Stafford is exempt from any conversation that I have about the quarterback positions. Matthew Stafford is the real deal.
The reason I bring up Stafford is because the narratives wanted Stafford to win so bad.
Yeah.
To the point where it was like, ugh. Like, stop it. Stop with the Stafford glazing. He got to have a good team too.
We saw what that looks like in Detroit.
Exactly. And he ended up in the same boat. You had arguably one of the best young defensive players in the league in Jared Verse. Didn't help. Still got eliminated. Still got your tickets to your Jet 2 holiday in Cancun. So you won the Super Bowl, but how long ago was that now? Yeah, that's a distant memory. What have you done for me lately?
They told us. They told us the 2018 Super Bowl, the 2017-2018 Super Bowl. Hey, Eagles fans, that's a distant memory. You got to do it again.
Got to do it again.
New quarterback. Can you do it again, though? Y'all won one. Okay, cool.
Y'all ain't going to never win nothing with Jalen Hurts.
That's what they said.
Hold on now.
That's what they said.
And 22 came up. And the funny thing about the loss in 22 was Jalen got everybody's respect. Everybody's respect. That's why, to me, after watching 22 and then seeing how 23 played out when we didn't have a defense, and he still played relatively well. He still played good enough to win. But again, in my opinion, we got outcoached in 23. We got outcoached. We got outcoached this year with Patullo. We lost the chess match. Maybe they were almost right to want Sirianni fired. But if Sirianni gets fired, we had this conversation a while back, Tone. If Sirianni gets fired, do we win that Super Bowl in 24? I don't know. Because you got somebody new coming in, they bring in a new regime. All the stuff that we doing now, we do it in our Super Bowl year, and I don't believe we go there. People are supposed to be where they're supposed to be. Sirianni was supposed to be here, whether you like it or not. He was the right guy for the job, for that group of men in that locker room. And that was proven when we hoisted that trophy. The thing that pissed me off about Sirianni the most is we didn't lead the starters in and put up a 40 burger on them damn Chiefs.
You mean 50? 50 burger.
Yeah, absolutely.
We could have dropped 50 on their head easily.
We should have dropped 50 on them. I was with Jalen. You sure you want me to come out? Man, I'd have kept running that play. I'm like, we gonna get damn Saquon 100 yards in this game.
I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm vindictive that way.
Man, I would have put the gas on his ass. Because they did it to us. They hit us with the same okie doke play twice when we lost that Super Bowl. So, guess what, man? Don't ever take your foot off the gas. You too much of a nice guy, Nick. Could have been me. But guess what? I digress. Because you got the chip anyways.
Yep. And
when they said you couldn't do it, when they said, what does a CEO coach do? And you had every damn example of great CEO coaches, but you ain't want to talk about them. You don't want to talk about Harbaugh. How great would it be to have Harbaugh here and get rid of Sirianni? Harbaugh ain't won a Super Bowl. We back to the style points again. People want it to look like whatever it is they want it to look like. And if it doesn't, then they quick to throw that baby out with the bathwater. And it's like, you got to look at the track record. You got to look at the body of work. I don't give a damn what you feel about Nick Sirianni. I don't care that you don't like that he go back and forth with the fans in the stands. That man has a better record in his first 5 years than Big Red did. Do you understand that? Do you understand that Nick Sirianni is on a Hall of Fame trajectory? Let me say that one more again. Nick Sirianni is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. He has been to the playoffs every year he's been a coach. He's got 2 Super Bowl appearances and a victory. That's Hall of Fame level. And all he has to do for the remaining tenure is be good. He ain't got to be great. But because some people don't like his personality, they don't like his attitude, they don't like the way he come across, and that, man, miss me with all of that stuff. Y'all would never have liked Jimmy Johnson. You never would have liked Bill Parcells or Dan Reeves or Marv Levy or Bill Walsh back in the day. You wouldn't have liked them guys either. Because them were the dudes that was the original "it's my way or the highway." Bill Parcells was notorious for having his guys. And he cut a lot of players so he can bring in his guys. But you know what? That joker got some Super Bowl wins, though. Couldn't say nothing to him. We are Sirianni is at that level now. He's at that. Sirianni done been to how many Super Bowls did Parcells go to?
I gotta check that.
Yeah.
Let me see. All right, Bill Parcells won 2 Super Bowls as the head coach, both with the New York Giants, following the 1986 and 1990 NFL seasons.
3.
Yeah.
3.
He also
So
reached the head
two,
coach
two with the Giants and
Patriots,
one with the Patriots.
So he's been to 4. No, he's been to 3. You're right. I'm sorry. He's been to 3.
Yeah, I'm talking about specifically as a head coach.
Yeah, he's been to 3. He's been to 3.
Yeah. But he's on that trajectory. And people still gonna try to find a way to hate him. And it's like, man, shut it up. Because again, let's strip away the name, let's strip away the team, and let me say, hey, I got a guy, and this guy is going to take your team and your city to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. Do you want him? You don't get to learn anything about him until you commit. Anybody would take that deal. Anybody.
Man, when I saw Jalen Hurts on Super Bowl weekend, we can close it out with this, man. And I appreciate you for always going the distance with me, big dog. When I saw Jalen Hurts this past weekend, in that group of Super Bowl MVPs,
the legends,
and it's a very small group, by the way.
Very small group.
What did they call that group again when they introduced him at the beginning of the game?
They called them the Super Bowl legends.
They called them the Super Bowl legends. The Super Bowl legends. Okay. I didn't make that up, right? You didn't make that up, right?
No.
Nope. That was how they introduced those guys, to the point where they wanted to recognize those gentlemen. Special customized varsity jackets given to a very select group of people who've accomplished something almost insurmountable, who are in rare air. I saw Jalen Hurts rubbing shoulders with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Lynn Swann, Emmitt Smith, Jerry Rice, Montana, Eli Manning, Steve Young. I mean, like, what are we talking about, bro?
The only active player to be honored. The only active player in that group.
The only black quarterback in that group.
Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, Lynn Swann. That's high praise right there.
Say what you want about him. You can never take it from him.
Nope.
You can never take it from him.
The only active player. Let them say what they want to say. We got our guy.
I'll roll the dice with Jalen Hurts
every time.
For the notice. You see, it'd be different if he only made it to the Super Bowl and he lost it. And okay, yeah, he made it, but can he win one? That's But been to 2, won 1. Okay, I'm rolling with this guy. I'm rolling.
Tone, watch this. Watch this. Because I haven't heard it. I've been looking for it, but I have not heard it. How many news stories and how many sports radio topics have they talked about how hard it is to make it back after you lose?
It's always
I haven't heard that all week. I ain't heard nobody say that about Drake May.
I saw one graphic, but I think it was a repost of the old graphic when they showed it last year. So you're right.
So nothing new. Y'all keep moving that goalpost.
Leading up to that Super Bowl that Jalen Hurts won, all they kept saying was, guys like him don't win it. When they get another crack at it, they don't win it. Jalen Hurts was fighting against so many narratives going into that game, so many demons going into that game. He was fighting against history. Come on. Anyway, that's our show, y'all. That's our show, man. We appreciate y'all. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed, man. Me and my guy, Marcus Thomas, always gets it done. You feel what I'm saying? So, again, we appreciate y'all.
For sure.
You guys have been phenomenal.
We got a long off season, folks. Get ready.
Mm-hmm.
I am efforting to get my guy Ian Cummings back on the show soon. He is my go-to guy for draft coverage. He is a draft expert. He writes for PFF. I think it's PFF. Ian Cummings, if you guys haven't seen any of my shows with Ian Cummings, go kind of back in my my archives and look for them shows. Ian Cummings is one of those guys where if you pick any random name for college, he'll have information on him. Like he's that in depth. He's one of those guys where he can answer any question about anybody that's going to be in the draft. So he's about to get into his busy season. I mentioned him about 2 weeks ago because I'd already talked with him. And, he was about to go on holiday and about to take a little vacation because he knows he was about to get hot and heavy because now it's draft time. So this is his time of year. So I'm looking to get him on as we get ready for the draft. It is officially Howie season. And I'm ready for it. Let's go. I'm ready to see what Sean Mannion gonna do. All these coaches that he's putting. Everybody got exactly what they was asking for, with the exception of losing Stoutland. But we're gonna find out if that was a plus or a minus. It's gonna take a minute to figure that one out.
It is, man. Buckle up, Eagles fans.
Yes, sir.
It's always an exciting ride on this side. He's Marcus Thomas. I'm your guy, Tone Dishills II. Make sure you guys lock in on Pro Fan Talk, lock in on Chalk It Up Sports. This has been the Bald Eagles Podcast. As always, fly Eagles fly.
Go Birds.
In the city of Philly, where the birds take flight, Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the Broad Street lights, dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Blind guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. I like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by, bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by, bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad.